Good afternoon. My name is Jose Molinelli, and this summer 2022, I have the honor of serving as a junior fellow at the Library of Congress, specifically under the American Law Division's project, the Supreme Court Justice Project. In the grand scheme of historical progression, it often happens that the thinkers who subtly laid the ideological brickwork for great movements and schools of thought become overshadowed by their more dramatic contemporaries. When pondering on the matters of judicial review, freedom of the press, and principles of natural law, many legal historians resort to discussing Supreme Court Justices John Marshall and John Jay, and even the British legal scholar Blackstone, while the name James Iredell is often unheard of. However, Iredell's pen is behind the ideological formulation of all the aforementioned doctrines, which in his absence would either not have been presented or would have not survived the political tensions of the 18th century Supreme Court. Therein not only lies the historical importance of creating a narrative that clearly endeavors to delve into Iredell's judicial legacy, but also one that explores his life history so as to contextualize his experiences with the nature of his thought. This summer, I shall endeavor to piece together elements of Justice Iredell's life and legacy, with the goal of drafting a biography that provides a more thorough understanding of Iredell and his contributions to American law. In pursuit of this mission, I rely on existing biographies drafted during the early 1800s as touchstones for my research. These texts, however, lacked in the benefit of substantive materials that became available after their publication, such as Iredell's personal and work-related correspondence contained within the Charles E. Johnson collection at the State Library of North Carolina, the state in which he resided to until his death in 1799, and materials relating to his early life, including previously unknown details hailing from the Lewis Township Historical Office at Sussex, United Kingdom. With these resources and an overview of his judicial casework found at the Library of Congress, I shall compile enough information to establish a new biography that can shed light on his life and how it impacted his legal thought, which in turn informs our current constitutional framework. I shall seek to draft this biography within a public history framework, for its true intent is to facilitate constitutional knowledge to a wide audience of readers. I expect to encounter difficulties in my research because of Iredell's letters, including contradictory statements regarding his judicial policies. Furthermore, letters about Iredell by other court officials or family members seem to provide counterpoints to his own statements of judicial proceedings, especially on the topics of slavery. Nevertheless, this material shall also prove invaluable to addressing his life's narrative from a historical point of view and contextualizing his legal thought in light of the controversies of the time, which can rarely be perceived from the contemporary researcher's idiosyncratic bias. At the end of this research, I'll strive to unite these narratives around Iredell so as to produce a reliable and informative source on his life and legacy that can shed more light into the doctrines that hail from his mind, and in that fashion, provide a better understanding of the Constitution we all share and value. I'd like to thank you all very much for giving me the time to present this, and the Library of Congress for giving me this opportunity.